Imagine a civilization more advanced than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, with perfect city planning, sophisticated drainage systems, and a writing system so complex that despite 100 years of study, no one has cracked the code. Then suddenly, around 1900 BCE, they vanished without a trace. No war, no fire, no final battle. This is the mystery of the Indus Valley Civilization. And this is HistoryMind. Our story begins not in ancient times, but in the early 20th century. In 1921, British archaeologist Sir John Marshall led excavations in what was then British India. What he uncovered near the dusty plains of Punjab was beyond anything expected. A city, massive, structured, unlike anything the colonial world had seen. This site was called Harappa. Just 1 year later, another site emerged, Mohenjo-Daro, in present-day Pakistan. It wasn't just one city, it was an entire civilization, spread across nearly 1 million square kilometers. Over the decades, more than 1,500 settlements have been found, stretching from modern-day Pakistan to Western India. And they all shared something eerie, an identical design. The cities of the Indus weren't random clusters of huts or palaces. They were planned, as if drawn by architects with rulers and maps. Streets ran in a perfect grid pattern, cutting across each other at exact right angles. Main roads, side lanes, everything placed with purpose. Homes were built with uniform bricks, measured with astonishing precision. A 1:2, 4, used across hundreds of sites. Imagine that. Thousands of years ago, people using the same brick dimensions in cities 1,000 kilometers apart, without a centralized government we can trace. And it doesn't stop there. Every home had its own bathroom. Not outside, not shared. Inside, with drainage channels connected to an underground sewer system. Latrines were flushed using pitchers of water. Public bathhouses, such as the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, featured waterproof brickwork and advanced engineering. The sewage system was so advanced that modern engineers still marvel at its efficiency. And all of this? 3,000 years before the Roman aqueduct. Here's the strange part. In Mesopotamia, we find temples, palaces, and statues of kings. In Egypt, we find pyramids and pharaohs carved into stone. But in the Indus Valley, no royal tombs, no giant monuments, no evidence of an empire ruled by a single hand. It's like the cities ran on consensus rather than conquest. Even their grave sites are simple. No golden coffins, no buried treasure. There are no armies, no weapons of war, and almost no evidence of internal violence. Was this the most peaceful ancient civilization in history? Or have we simply not uncovered the truth? One of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the Indus people lies in their writing system. Over 4,000 seals have been found, made of steatite, clay, or copper. They're inscribed with animals, unicorns, bulls, elephants, and a strange collection of symbols. There are more than 400 unique signs, yet we still don't know what they say. Why? Because most inscriptions are extremely short, often fewer than 5 symbols. And we have no bilingual example, nothing like the Rosetta Stone to compare it with. Linguists, historians, and AI experts have tried for decades. Some think it was a proto-language, used only for trade or religious symbols. Others argue it was never a language at all, just a symbolic system. The Tamil Nadu government once offered a $1 million prize to anyone who could decode it. No one has claimed it. To this day, the Indus script remains silent, a language locked inside time. The Indus people were not isolated. They traded with Mesopotamia, Persia, and coastal cultures as far as modern-day Oman. Seals from Harappa have been found in Sumerian cities. Boats and dockyards near Lothal Point to maritime trade routes. They exported cotton textiles, beads, lapis lazuli, and metal tools. But perhaps the most fascinating part? Their uniformity. Across hundreds of sites, we find the same tools, toys, pottery, and weights, suggesting a civilization with remarkable cultural cohesion. Their religion? Likely a mix of nature worship, fertility symbols, and possibly the early roots of Hinduism, based on terracotta figures resembling yogic poses and sacred animals. But once again, no temples, no gods with names, only symbols. Around 1900 BCE, something changed. Slowly, but unmistakably, cities were abandoned. Brick kilns shut down, streets became silent, trade halted, no signs of war, no invaders, no mass graves or destruction. One theory blames tectonic shifts that redirected the Saraswati and Indus rivers, drying them out or triggering floods. Another points to a megadrought, shrinking the monsoon season and making agriculture impossible. Some suggest a plague, a silent killer that emptied homes. And some believe it was a slow societal unraveling, too complex, too stretched, too dependent on fragile systems. By 1300 BCE, the civilization was gone. Not conquered, not consumed, just forgotten. Until 4,000 years later, when we found their bricks again. We still don't know what they called themselves. We don't know what language they spoke, what gods they prayed to, or why they vanished. But we know this. They built one of the world's most advanced civilizations. And they did it without kings, war, or glory. Maybe that's why we forgot them. But maybe that's why they mattered more than we ever realized. If this story fascinated you, like, comment, and subscribe to HistoryMind, because in every ruin, in every symbol, there's a story waiting to speak again.